Blazing Hot 91 in the Blazing Hot Morning Show. Every Wednesday, we take a pause for the health, healing, and Hampton Roads segment inside of the show. Now, today we have Gaylene Kanoyton, a native of Detroit, Michigan, pretty much have founded in 2013 Celebrate Healthcare, a healthcare advocacy and outreach and educational agency. So, Gaylene, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Good morning. And let's talk about how COVID-19 is pretty much coming in and you're helping to get testing done in the area.
So the Urban League of Hampton Roads, which I'm on the board of, and the NAACP and several other partners are working with Centera Health System to go in vulnerable areas to test people for COVID-19, and it's a free testing. And so we've been doing this since March. And so today, right now, as we speak, I'm at West Hampton Community Center in Hampton, and the testing is going on here between 9 to 11. I know there's 3 testings in Suffolk, and people can go to the Virginia Department of Health and put in their zip code, and they'll see where these free testings are located.
Yes,
and there's one Saturday, too. On Church Street that Danica Royster has put together from 11 to 2.
Yes, indeed. It's really important now to make sure that you find out because COVID-19 is pretty much being a sleeper on us. Like it's changing a little bit. Some of the symptoms like from breathing to now gastric type of issues that are going on that are all contributed to COVID-19. Now, let's talk about real quick some of the things that are the background. Let's talk about the healthcare system because I know your company pretty much helped to be a big advocacy for people getting registered and enrolled into the affordable care marketplace.
Yes, we started in 2013 because I woke up and I realized that no one was talking about enrolling people into affordable care because back then it was real political. So I started to Celebrate Healthcare, and we've been holding Enroll Fest. We've been holding Enroll Fest all through the time period when you can enroll since 2013. We've enrolled probably over 20,000 people into the healthcare system.
Wow.
Care. But now, and we also did it so we could educate people that fell into the gap. And what that means is that they didn't make enough to go into the affordable care to get a government subsidy, or they didn't have a job and they made a little bit too much to get Medicaid. And so we were trying to expand Medicaid in Virginia. So that gave us the opportunity to explain to people why it was important to contact their legislators and why it was important to vote. And so now Medicaid is expanded. And what does that mean? That means that if you don't have a job, if you don't make enough to get into the affordable care, the marketplace, you can now get Medicaid. And you go to coverva.org. And that is so critical during this age of COVID because under the Affordable Care Plan insurance, all insurances most insurance, and including Medicaid definitely has it, and Affordable Care has it, is that all of your preventative care exams are free. Your physicals, your mammograms, your colonoscopies, all of them are at no charge. And we need to have this in the age of COVID because COVID really attacks people with pre-existing conditions badly. It attacks anybody with even if you don't have one. But if you have a pre-existing condition, these are the people that are dying. And so we want to get early detection. So we're telling everyone, go to the doctor, get your physical, and then some of the testings, if you can't get to these free testing and you go to Rite Aid or you go to some of these other facilities, they're going to ask you if you have insurance because your insurance should cover these COVID testings as well.
That's great information to pass on, especially in today, with everything going on. So your insurance will cover those tests, even the antibody one?
Yeah, you need to ask your insurance company. I always tell people to ask you can call your insurance company up and ask what will they cover. Most insurance companies will cover the COVID. I'm not sure about the antibodies one, if they'll cover that one or not. But I also want people to be aware of the scams that are out here, too. There are many scams out here. People are calling you saying that they can enroll you into a health care plan for cheap, and they're going to say it's Obamacare, and it's not. You really need to do your research and make sure that if you're going to go into the marketplace, that you are in the marketplace, which is healthcare.gov, or if you want to get into Medicaid, whether you expanded Medicaid, is coverva.org.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears with you as we're listening to Health Healing at Hampton Roads on Blazing Hot 91. We're talking with Gaylene Kanoyton, and let me just say, your accolades just go on and on. You mentioned that you were part of the NAACP over in Hampton, as well as you have served on a number of boards. Now, you have a different side as well as the side that's helping people out. You're also helping people to navigate through some of the situations that's going on, like the social unrest that's actually happening in the whole entire country right now.
That's exactly right. So I am the president of the Hampton Branch NAACP. I'm vice president for Region 1, which is Hampton Roads, New Kent, and Charles City. And I'm also the Virginia State State Conference Chair, Political Action Chair is what so I handle all of the legislation. My committee, we handle all the legislation and our legislative priorities for the NAACP in Virginia. So we've been navigating through this social justice, and then what does that mean? That means that we are encouraging people on the importance of why it's good to register to vote. Look what's going on with social change that's going on now. Because of the man we have in the White House, we have racists that doesn't have a problem of telling everyone that they are racist. The police brutality has increased, or let me say, maybe not have increased. It's more visible now. How about that? And so we are trying to direct everyone to, as we can demonstrate and continue to demonstrate, now it's time to legislate. Well, we have a special session. The General Assembly has a special session coming up on August the 18th. We're putting our legislative priorities together. We're talking to all the legislative bodies on the Democratic and the Republican side. And now it's time to get police reform, criminal justice reform, make sure that we have COVID relief extended even after this is over with. And we will need people to help us advocate in Richmond on August the 18th.
Yes, indeed. So you're pretty much navigating through a nonpartisan type of thing to just say, hey, we need help.
That's exactly right. We need help. We need volunteers. We need people we have phone banks that are in play right now where people can call up residents to see if they're registered to vote. Also, on different, and make them aware of different issues that are going on. You can go to the naacp.org. You will see the national 12-point plan for the police reform, which is a very robust plan. It includes a citizen review board with subpoena power. We also want to have transparency on the number of times that a police officer has had complaints or incidents against them. If you notice what happened to George Floyd, the police officer that kneeled on his neck had 18 incidents against him in the past. And so we need to know these things. So it's time to legislate now. It's time to get laws in place so that we can have protection for our people going forward.
Now, we're right in the middle of the census count that is going on. So COVID-19 just hit us right when the census was starting to be taken off and the count was starting to be done. How important is it right now inside of COVID-19 that we continue to get ourselves counted?
It is so important now than ever to get counted. 10 years ago in 2010, African Americans and children were undercounted in a tune to close, maybe to 1 million or even more than that. And so it's very important that we get counted. Now, why is it important that we get counted? Because we get more resources in our localities if we get counted. That's where the funding comes from the government. That's how the government determines how much funding to put in the SNAP program, Medicaid program, education, roads, jobs. I mean, it applies to everything that you do in your city. You know, it applies to everything, the funding, and also it applies to who's going to represent you on a correct congressional level, and that's redistricting. So if you don't go and get counted, then you might get a representative that may not represent you, or we can get additional congressional seats, like we did. We did get it. We happened to get the fourth congressional seat. We got an additional seat with Senator Don McEachin, who is now Congressman Don McEachin, that he was able to win, and because we had an additional congressional seat. But that also, the census also determines who represents us. So everyone needs to go to 2020census.org. Now, people think that, okay, Big Brother's going to be watching me. No, it's not. It's not. How it works is that whoever was heads and beds on April the 1st is who you count in your census. They're not going to get into your business. They're not going to say if you live in a public housing and you're supposed to only have 4 people and you have 8 people there, they're not going to be watchdogs and come in and say you're in violation. That's not going to happen. So this very protected. They have a code that they have to abide by. And I know we got a crazy person in the White House.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you that there is a code of protection. And if you have not done it, you might get a knock on your door with someone. Make sure they have a legal badge if they ask you questions or whatever, and not fraud, because you have some other organizations out here that are committing fraud. But it's the safest way is to go online to 2020census.gov.
Yeah, it's very simple to do. I did mine pretty much within like 5 minutes and pretty much navigated through it and got done pretty much, you know?
Exactly. You can get it done. And it's so, so important. And especially with children, children from ages 1 through 5, 0 through 5 are not being counted. And they need to be counted. If you were pregnant and you had your baby on April the 1st, that baby needs to be counted. And so we definitely want to make sure, because that helps with preschool education, and especially now coming out of COVID, we're going to need more resources than ever. And if we are not counted, we will not get the resources that we need in our locality, the resources that we need as African Americans and the vulnerable. And so we need to be counted.
Along with being counted, we got to make sure that we get out and vote and make sure that our voices also are heard, because, after the census and stuff is taken care of, we also got gerrymandering going on where lines are getting redrawn. So we got to make sure we put the right people in the right offices that will represent us. And we have to do that through voting.
That's exactly right. You have to vote on July 1st. The Virginia General Assembly passed a law that is no excuse absentee voting. So before you had to have an excuse to vote absentee. Now you can, as of July 1st, you can go online and apply for an absentee ballot, or you can call your local registrar and ask for an absentee ballot, and they'll mail it to your home, because you have some people and senior citizens and people with pre-existing conditions that are afraid to go to the polls on November the 3rd. So you can apply for your ballot now, and you'll get it in the fall. And we recommend that everyone who don't want to go to the polls in November to apply now. You can go to election.virginiaspelledout.gov, and you can apply online for that as well. And then you can also call your local registrar office, and they will can sign you up to make sure you get a ballot in the fall. But it's so important that we turn out to vote and we register people to vote, especially if you know anyone that's 17 years old and will be 18 by November 3rd. They can register to vote now.
That's it. That is definitely it. Now, Gaylene, we have a few more seconds left in the Health, Healing, and Hampton Roads segment. Let's talk about just getting involved and being involved. If you had to talk to someone right now in the 757, what would you tell them to get involved and how to be involved?
I would tell them to get involved in areas that they are most passionate about. If you're passionate about social justice, then join your Urban League of Hampton Roads or join your NAACP. You can go to ulhr.org, or you can go to naacp.org, and then you can look for your city and you can apply there. Or you can start your own organization, or there's many organizations that are already out here that you can join and help. It is so critical that we have everyone working within their space or helping organizations that are already established to even grow and get their work done. I cannot say it enough. It is so important that, register people to vote. We can't go out and do voter registration drives because the numbers are going up because of COVID. But guess what? You can register to vote online. You can do your training to register people to vote online. The training only takes 5 minutes. You go to election.virginia.gov, spelled out. You can do a training, and people can also register to vote online. You can hold Zoom meetings. You can have voter registration drives online. There's all kinds, do it on social media. There's all kinds of different ways. So you can work within your space from your home.
All right, Gaylene, thanks a lot for coming on Health Healing at Hampton Roads. How can somebody reach you if they would like to reach out to you?
They can reach me at 757-287-0277. That's 757-287-0277. I have a Facebook page, Celebrate Healthcare, and then we also have the NAACP Hampton VA on Facebook. So we're on Instagram, on Twitter, and everywhere as well. So, but I always answer my phone, so you can just call me on my cell phone as well.
Thanks a lot, Gaylene. Gaylene owns Gaylene LLC, a public affairs management and marketing agent, as well as she's on numerous boards. Thank you so much for coming on Health Healing in Hampton Roads. I'll let you get back to that COVID testing over in Hampton. Thanks a lot for being with us on the Blazing Hot Morning Show.